Hi, my name's Karen Westcott. I'm an advisor captain and an advisor in Australia. I live just out of Melbourne. You can see my background behind me. I'm way up in the hills and we are pretty much in the depth of winter, it feels like, at the moment, although spring isn't that far away. I've been asked to do a single page layout for you. This is the one here. And I was advised to give it a try using the Cruising Along theme pack. So great thing with this theme pack is it does come with the laser cut embellishments. So I'll be using some of those. It's a great little pack. It's got a little bit of everything in there, of course. So beautiful paper tones. I'll turn it that way. Beautiful paper tones as well. And I'm going to be adding in just a touch of this, and you'll see why once you see the photos I've picked. I was pretty lucky because I got to go on a cruise 2 years ago with my family. Well, actually not with my family, well, with my family, with my mum and my sisters. So my mum took us on, I guess, the trip of a lifetime to Europe and to the UK, and did a Mediterranean cruise as part of that a little bit after my father had passed away. So that was our thing to do together with my mum and my sisters. So I thought I'd show you some of the techniques along the way. Many of them you'll have used plenty of times before, but we know there's a lot of new people that join our worldwide virtual crop and might like to just see how we use some of the really basic tools that we have. So I think I've set this up okay. Let's see how this goes. Now let me bring it down for you. There we go. So this is our border maker system. Absolute classic. Comes with our small piece here, and that's where our cartridges go into as well. Our mount, I'll show you from the start so it makes sense. Looks like that. We open him up like so and pop the paper in just like so. Then we just flick that back so it goes underneath. We don't need to see that. And people always wonder, there's a little tip that even some of my consultants that have been around for a long time and my customers, that there's actually a little tiny divot mark on the front of your piece here, and there's little tiny divot marks along here as well. So even though the feet here will find the spot underneath, if you're ever not sure, those two little pieces of plastic should actually line up, and then you know that you're in the right place. They're not just there to look good. So along we go. Oh, always got a little bit stuck there. Sometimes it happens. I've used our fairly recent release in the cloud design, and using the aqua paper that came in with the theme pack as well. So as simple as that, and you've got your borders made. So there's a couple of other tools that I'm using, and I obviously added in an extra colour as well. So a minute ago we cut our cloud border punch. But what I like to do is actually mix up with our border punches. Now, all I've done for that, to add in that extra orange for my edge, all I've done, cut another piece and flipped it round the other way, because it's not universal from end to end. So you could make multiple layers, creating the little clouds, using them as bubbles, all sorts of things. Now, the other thing I like to do is I'm very much about bordering my photos. It's kind of, you know, my thing in my albums. And that's where the 12-inch trimmer comes in. So, yes, again, I'm going to see if we can turn our little camera down for you. Okay, we'll go one more. So here is our 12-inch trimmer. I'm sure lots of people have got these now, because it's certainly a big favourite. And we're going to use the scallop piece. So remembering it's as simple as taking your cartridges out and popping your new cartridge back in and shutting it. More of a safety feature than anything else. Obviously protects little hands. We have our extended arm here if we need to use to cut those longer lengths. We don't need that one for this one today. And of course, all of our measurements on the top, so we can use it for lots of angles and designs. But in this case, all I'm looking for is a nice small trim, which you'll see when the page gets done. So we might go to about there. Oop, I'm stuck in there. And this is our scallop edge, so probably a little bit tricky to see there. Let me just creating our little scallop edge there, and I'm going to actually do one for the other side as well. There we go, beautifully cut. You just don't have to worry about anything with this trimmer, and you'll see how that will come together in our page in a moment. So one of the other things that we can use is obviously our border punches. Now, typically we think of border punches as for borders, but more often than not, I find myself using them for other sorts of trimmings, and you can use the little offcuts from them as well. So for those that aren't sure, there's a little black mark, okay, that sits just there on the edge. So that's our first position for our line up if you're doing it as a border, so you don't miss anything. So in this case, we're just going to slide it in like so, make sure it's nice and flat on this top end, and we have this punch. Now, if I lift this off carefully, you'll note, it'll be a little bit hard to see. I'll see if I can slide in that way. There we go, there. That's our offcuts, and I've seen some of my customers do marvellous things with those little bits of offcuts as well. But separately to that, if we take this now and we use our new fine scissors, which are excellent for this job, and we just trim it off like so, now we have just a small decorative piece. So what I tend to do is use those decorative pieces as much as using the whole border, and really then you're serving as having lots of extra punches. So don't forget to have a look at your border punches and the designs that they make individual ones and see what you can do with them to create your own little border patterns. So we're going to pop that onto the page as well. So the page is coming together quite well, but of course one of our, I guess, most favourite tools is using our repositional tape. I think my life changed when this actually came out because I use my border maker a lot. I use the laser cut embellishments a lot. But most importantly, I love it because I love the ability to be able to just, I often do it on my table because nothing sticks to it, is to just give it a little bit of that. And what we're doing is we're creating, like we did earlier with our other border, I'm creating a shadowed kind of look out of two pieces of the punch that we just made, really so that it creates its own little punch piece for itself, and with both colours integrated, which you'll see on the page. So our page is complete for this particular sketch. So here we go. So reminding you again, where have I popped that? This was our sketch design. Okay, so we've got two long form photos, two squares and some points for decoration. And this is my version of it. So what have we used here? So along here we've got our cloud border maker, okay, to create that edge design. And then through the middle to separate the two lots of photos, we actually have our 12-inch trimmer with our scallop blade on it. Our embellishments, I love, absolutely love laser cut borders. So this came out of the laser cut border pack. Again, just stuck on with our repositional tape using that, the orange shimmer. Where'd the orange shimmer come from? Well, of course, we have paper buffets quite a few times a year with Creative Memories, a special range of papers that are available. And this one came from one of those quite recently. And I love things that just have a little bit of shimmer. So it just adds, it's a bit hard probably to see there, but it just adds a little bit of texture to the page by having that slight gloss to it as well. We've got our two photos in the middle, of course. Here's our blocks. Of course, they're reversed for you, but here's our blocks that were cut from the pack, from the sketch pack. And obviously I'm very big about telling the story, so I've got a bit of a story down here. And very simple with my title, but just putting that at the top. And rather, you know, just something simple to fill. You'll notice my pages are very symmetrical. It is how I do work most of the time. I like to see that symmetry across my pages, but I also like to bring in some extra colours into it as well. So there is our sketch for this challenge. Hope you enjoy making your version of this sketch.